Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel, and we have an interesting story to tell you. It's about the walls of Jericho, and one more important thing. It's my father's birthday and we're really excited to celebrate, and food! And we're gonna do a prayer before this video starts, and I hope you enjoy. Dear God, thank you for this day. Please bless us and give us strength. And please help us and protect us from COVID-19 so we won't get infected. And please give my father a nice happy birthday and make sure he doesn't have any problems for this day. And give him some happiness and give my family happiness. And please protect them from COVID-19 like us. In Jesus' name, amen. Cake. My turn. I want a cake. It's a cake. Fine. Dear graciously Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Let us enjoy. Help us to celebrate this day. Make my father always happy all the time. And make this a wonderful birthday for Callie. And to make us always laugh and happy, and also help us to give us food. What was that? Oh, it's nothing. What was that? Tell me. It's nothing. Just never mind. And also bless this food in Jesus' name, amen. Well, that was unexpected. Anyways, let's continue. So this story will start right now. So long ago, when the Israelites were about to go to Canaan, the promised land that God had promised them, and their leader Moses had suddenly died. No one knew where he was buried. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Well, that was right. No one knew where he was buried. He was like buried in the middle of nowhere. I don't really know. Then they had no leader to guide them, so they're all worried. So they camped for the night and thought who the new leader should be. Well, Joshua, who was the helper of Moses, Moses, worried, and he thought that he wasn't ready enough to be a leader because since he was the servant of Moses, then God told him to be a leader. Yes, I know, I'll say that. People would really think that he should be the right one. But anyways, he sat down and thought to himself, who should be leader? Then God said to Joshua that it should be him because he believes in God and he's a good person and he's wise. And Josh took care of his pet servant. Never mind. And he finally agreed since God asked him to, though he really didn't think he would be good enough. So they started traveling for the next day. Joshua worried, though the people believed in him and hoped that he would be well. He hoped that he would be a good servant to God. And God always never left Joshua's side. They traveled and traveled and traveled for days until it turned into weeks. They were still far from the promised land. And they didn't believe in God. What? Yes, they did believe in God, but they didn't trust in God to help them. Yeah, help them. Yeah, I knew that. I didn't. Oh, just a car. And the people chose the right leader. Then they were finally close, maybe a few more steps to go, and they will be there at the promised land. But there was an obstacle. It would be really hard to accomplish. The Israelites set a camp to the nearest place they could find. It is called Jericho. Yeah, there was the Jordan River over there flowing, and Jericho was at the other side, and it would be really hard because the waters were super fast, like really, that when they would step in it, they would push away. So they thought, what? You're drinking it already? No, just put it there. I want to save it. And stop. And they were worrying and worrying and worrying. Well, Joshua was, because the people didn't really know that there was a river yet. So Joshua called the people, and it was too hard, but he remembered that he trusted in God. So the next day he said, behold, the power of God. He trusted, behold, the power of God. I saw that in many books. I read about it. So suddenly a miracle happened. The waters departed, and all the people said, it's like when Moses parted the Red Sea. Yes, parted the Red Sea. That's what I heard so many times. And the jaws went big. Oh yes, that actually happened. So they finally were able to cross the river, and they brought the Ark of the Covenant with them. It's a really special thing. I really want to see it. And wait, also, the ram named Turnip run around. And when the waters were about to close, Turnip run. The ram. That's not real. I know. It was just from a cartoon. Never mind about that. Then finally they were able to cross. Though they did know that they have to face another challenge. It was really hard in crossing that river. It was that they had to fight with all the people in Jericho. They were really scared. All the people. You forgot the part when he sent the spies to Jericho. Not now. That's not the part yet. Exciting. What? That was. No. What? Now when they go to Jericho, they have to bring the spies. How can they do that if the Jordan River is still gushing? Oh. How can they do that if the spies have to cross the river by themselves? The spies have to cross the river first, and later they will go. No, they have to be. Never mind. No, they were finally able to reach Jericho when after the king had teased them and said that they would never cross it. Wait, put it down first. And one thing I forgot to tell you, Joshua said something. He said the king is like this river, dangerous. Yeah, because the king. Yup. So, yeah, it's actually true. He actually said that. Anyways, let me continue. And he said, behold, power of God. You've mentioned that like 2 times. So, they finally went to Jericho and set up a camp because they had nowhere to stay. Then Joshua sent 2 spies to sneak into the walls of Jericho. So, they finally got in. But then, they almost got caught by the king's soldiers, and they had to run. They had to run and ran faster and faster, but they couldn't escape. So there was only one thing: to go inside someone's house. So they knocked into someone's special Rahab, who would help them And he put them down in later. Let's talk about that, please. You always talk. You want me to do that to you? Can I eat it, the cake now? Okay. Yes? Yay! I can eat the cake. You can eat the cake now. So, I'm so excited. I'm gonna eat the cake. So, Rahab let the spies in. And the spies told them all about them. Then Rahab said, I've heard about your God and how he helped Moses depart the Red Sea. Wait. And that most of our people know about it and think it's foolish. And their men were afraid to fight them. Yep, I guess it is, though they didn't really act like that. So, the spies had listened to Rahab's story, and they were glad to hear. Rahab let them stay in their shelter for a few more hours. Then finally, it was time for them to go. Rahab put a rope to the mountain. Hide in the mountain for 2 days, and please spare us when your army is about to attack. So and they said, put a red corn on the window. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I thought you wouldn't interrupt. So Rahab put that scarlet robe near her window as a sign that she was safe. So the spies hid in the mountains for 2 days. Joshua was worrying about what happened, though he trusted in God and hoped his spies were safe because he really wanted to know the news. Finally, after hiding in the mountain for 2 days, the spies finally came. The carrot part. Yum, you see me eating the cake? Want to eat? Okay, here you go. Daddy, I just want a cake. That doesn't mean you have to interrupt. Anyways, let me continue. So, the spies really came back to Joshua and they told Joshua all about what Rahab said and who Rahab was. Joshua wasn't very impressed and glad that the spies came back. And during the night, God sent a message to Joshua that they should march around the city for 7 times and blow the ram's horns and march around for like all the time. So that would be a really hard task, but Joshua still agreed to it. So they did it. So the very following day, they did it. They marched for hours and hours and hoped that they had enough energy. They didn't stop until night. I really didn't think, but trust me, they did march for a long time. They have to be very quiet. But the only sound was really loud. Then finally, the 8th day come. When Joshua woke up, the people said, "What? Joshua, is this some kind of joke? All you let us do is just march in the mountains while the king makes fun of us." Well, Joshua said, "I know that, but I promise you that we will be able to reach this promised land and that we will be safe." The people thought for a moment. Then they agreed to do it one last time because they were really tired. So they marched, but this time something new happened. Joshua told them to scream and said, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." So the people were really hoping that Joshua was telling the truth then. Then they shout and they screamed all along while they were blowing the ram's horns, and it made a really loud noise, louder and louder, until finally the first crack came to the walls until the cracks and crevices spread around. Then finally the walls were down. Then finally it's time for the good. It's time for the greatest part. They attacked the city, and but the spies remembered Rahab. Yep, and they saved her and their family. Then after they attacked the city, no one was spared. Children, women, men, everyone, even the king wasn't spared. Even though he said, "I'm the king." Yep, even though. But Joshua's people knew that it was the right thing to do to get the king out of that city because he was a sinner. So they conquered over Jericho. They finally got the city, and Rahab was so thankful that she helped the spies, or else she wouldn't be spared. And Joshua thanked God. And after that, they continued on their journey. They conquered more and more cities until their moment came. They finally reached the promised land, what God had promised Moses and all the other people before. Isaac too. I guess, yes, I saw that. And Joshua was so happy and glad that he was able to lead the Israelites to their home. And you want me to tell you a little bit about the promised land? God said it had everything the Israelites need: water, food, animals, plants, shelter, and any natural resource you could ever need. And that's the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. Lessons. The lessons is never give up and always trust in God because He will never leave your side. That is good. And my sister will like the story. Finally, I can have a Can we eat first, please? Okay, just do your story. Good luck. I want to eat first. Just one last bite and then. Fine. Okay. Okay, done. Mine is ready. Okay. There was once a man named Joshua, but their leader Moses died. So the people were really sad. So because they had no one to lead them. At a late night, Joshua, who helped Moses with his things, was really sad and didn't know what to do when Moses was gone. So cheered him up, and God said, that he should be leader, but Joshua refused because he was so scared to lead them. He thought that man talked, so he trusted God, and he became leader. The other day, they wanted to cross the Jordan River, but crossing wouldn't be easy. Fine, but crossing wouldn't be easy. So a woman said it is foolish because the river was so swift and very hard to cross and deep. Someone tried crossing the river, but he was pushed by Can you stop talking about them?
Fine. He was pushed by the big waters and he fell down. But it was not so deep, so he didn't drown. And he went back up and the king said, "Who are you? Go away."
Sorry.
Joshua replied his name and he said he was the leader of the Israelites. And he laughed and said, "This is not your land, it's our land." But he said God protected us, like he did to Moses, our leader. And he said he knew about all the miracles he done, but the king said he has no power here in this kingdom. And they tried to find a way, and God called him, and God said that he has to be strong and courageous.
Okay, that's nice words. Love it. You may continue.
That was in the shirt. Sweatshirt. Okay. And also, in the camp, they were sleeping. And after the morning, Joshua sent two spies to Jericho, and they said, "God has found a way. Bring the Ark of the Covenant." Alright, let's bring the Ark.
And what happened to the spies?
They went to Jericho, and they walked to Jericho, crossed the Jordan River to this dry land. After that, they said, "Pick up some stones where the priests were standing on." And they worshiped God. And they went, and the spies went to Jericho like a miracle. And the people, what again? Okay. And the people said, "It's like when Moses parted the Red Sea." Hi. And they went, and they said, and the king found a spy, which was not them. It was a heartless traveling merchant. And we'll skip that part. And the king caught them, and they catch the Israelites. They run, and until they reach to a house, which was the house of Rahab. They have them in, and Rahab put them in a wheat barrel.
Okay, so good.
You're
You're
right.
right.
So,
Yeah, you may.
oh, fine.
Okay, you may.
I have them in a barrel. It's just like this barrel.
That's not even.
I know. Stop. And had them in a barrel, and
Soldiers.
soldiers of the king said, "Open your doors, my order of the king." Rahab tried to do like this to the door, and what the soldiers said, "What is that?" Okay, out of my way. And they checked up there, but they couldn't see anything because of the barrels. So they went down and find some other houses like this. This. Alright. Until what are you doing? Okay. Until they reached back to camp. The guards were catching them until they crossed the Jordan River again. the guards went back to the palace, putting their report to the king. The king was so angry. And the spies told Joshua the news. So Joshua said, it's time to cross the Jordan River. Here, it's flowy. The Jordan River is flowy like this. Drink. I love drinks. And they crossed the Jordan River, marched around the city for 7 days. The people said, you don't know what you're doing. Our people are tired of marching around in place. Not place, everywhere around the city. But that's gonna be different. Totally different. And they yelled, screamed. The heavens can hear you like that light over there. That's heaven.
Nope, that's not.
Okay.
And you may proceed.
Okay, and also when the walls came down, like this wall. That's the cakewalk.
Stop.
Okay. And the cakewalk fell down into pieces and be eaten.
No, be crumbled.
Yeah, crumbled into pieces like crumbled. And they all fell down and be eaten. And they went to the city and attacked. But the spies went into the city too to get Rahab. Rahab was really happy. And they lived with the Israelites. And their days of wandering were over. And they attacked more cities like the Skyland. And they finally reached the promised
Not
the end. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Polly. Happy birthday, Polly. Happy birthday, Polly. Why? Then Poppy, bye.
Bye.
See you next time. I'm gonna eat some cake now.